Welcome into the live stream here. McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. It's a Labor Day edition. Hope everyone's having a good holiday. Been a busy day here, turning some stuff around. Scheduling's weird because it's Labor Day. Ole Miss moved their practice later, media later, so it's gonna be okay.
What time they go today?
They normally practice in the mornings, and I think today they moved it to noon. So the media stuff's at 2.
Okay.
So we'll get all that to you. It's going to be later in the day, but it's going to happen. Mason Brooks is literally loading as we speak in YouTube. My computer's busy right now, but you know what? Okay. It's just churning around.
How many player shows have you done?
I've done one of the 3. I'm supposed to do another one a little later this afternoon, and hopefully the third one later this afternoon as well.
So you need a little rain today.
I need rain. I need lots of stuff. You need lots of stuff. You're hurting, right?
I'm hurting bad. Yeah, but I'll be all right.
Okay.
They grow them tough where I come from.
I
got to come out here and hang out with Ryan. No, I'm not from Monroe.
Okay. All right, let's get we'll get to the audition file started. Everybody, appreciate you being with us, and we'll get rolling here momentarily. Welcome into another edition of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. It cracks me up every time. I'm Neal McCready. Tyler Siskey with me here today on a Labor Day Monday. Hope everybody is having a good one. We will go over our betting results from week 1. We'll have some Overreaction Monday. We'll talk about what team we owe an apology to, what team owes us an apology. We'll talk about some other games, and we'll look ahead to week 2. A lot of potential underdogs. Some really interesting games in week 2 that we'll talk about. First, I want to tell you that we're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, and 0 sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. I've got the Razzleberry today. One of your all-time favorites. One of my faves, yep, for sure.
I'm going with a cherry limeade, and I kept looking for a label on here that said should not mix with pain medication, but I don't know. So we're fixing to see if this has had the same effect.
So you spent Saturday night in the hospital. You were so bad off.
Yeah, not fun. I was fine. It started Wednesday. Before the show on Thursday, I'd go on Wednesday and got a Toradol shot and a antibiotic shot. Friday was fine. Really, I mean, just the same pain, but nothing bad, nothing terrible. And then, dude, I woke up Saturday a little later. I slept in. I've broken my femur, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I've had some injuries. The most pain I've ever been in my life. And I like pain now.
Well, I could tell Thursday when we finished that you
started getting a little discomfort.
You weren't your usual chipper self.
Yeah, started getting a little discomfort it's in my jaw. But, and it's not I don't know, it's something weird, I don't know, but anyway, long story short is I think Dr. Siskey thinks that I have a crown on a tooth that I think actually the tooth, I have something going on inside under the crown they can't see, and like pulp is dying or something, and it's releasing gases that are trapped underneath that. And dude, let me tell you something. Again, I've broken my femur. I've broken my tip. My foot has been backwards before. It's the worst pain I've ever been in my life. I mean, and it was weird is like I would drink cold water and I would go to a 0 instantly. I'm talking about instantly.
Pain would disappear.
And I would swallow the water, and about 45 seconds later, I mean, I felt like somebody was pressing on a broken bone. I mean, it was intolerable.
So what are you doing tomorrow? Are you getting?
Either somebody's fixing this tooth, or I'm going to fix it and take it out. I mean, it's to that point. I mean, it really is. I mean, I've been hurt before, and I like pain, but this went on all day, and so to the point to where, so Saturday it hurt so bad I went back and got another Toradol shot. Did nothing. Didn't even touch it. The second Toradol shot didn't touch anything. And so I was like, this, and then I got Toradol pills, nothing. Hydrocodone, nothing. Tylenol 3, nothing. And so I told my wife, I was like, I can't drink water all night long for 3 days, to make this. I mean, literally, it was a 45 seconds at a pop. I mean, I drank water every 45 seconds for 12 hours Saturday. Think about that. I was peeing a lot.
I bet you were.
Yeah, and then I feel bad. I was very irritable, and I was yelling at a lot of people that were just trying to talk to me because I really wasn't hearing it at that time.
Because your parents came in for the
Yeah,
weekend, right?
mom was trying. Bless her heart. She was being mom, and I just had it. I mean, they would ask me 4 questions when I had water in my mouth. I was like, it hurts to talk. I don't want to have a conversation, but I feel bad. Anyway, long story short, I had enough, and then went to the hospital Saturday night, and they shot me up with like something that my wife said she's surprised that they even shot me up with. And
The
my
kind of
wife,
thing they used to put an elephant down.
yeah, my wife is a nurse,
Right.
and so she was like, "Oh my god," I was like, "What?" I was like, "Is this gonna work?" She goes, "If it doesn't work, there's problems," and so they shoot me up with that, and the lady's like, "This is gonna make you go down." So I remember I got the shot at 11 o'clock on the nose, and so I'm sitting there at 11:30, and it starts working at about 11:30. But it wasn't. It didn't take the pain away. I was just high as a kite. I'm talking about out there, brother. I'm talking about gone. And my wife's like, "That's why they gave it to you, because I came up here with you so I can drive home." Then they give me a pain pill on top of that as I'm going out the door. And so I told you, I came home and like there's nothing on TV. I watched all the ball games. I finished watching the state game. It was on late. I finished watching that. And then I turned on our good friend Chase.
Yeah, the MPW Digital Post-Game Show with Chase Parham.
Yeah,
Yep.
I turned on that to see how he was loving the callers, riding solo. And so I literally stayed up the whole time, and I was still drinking water, and I was pissed because it's not working. And that's what I was telling you. It was like one of those cartoons. After I guess it was probably about 3 or 4 in the morning of doing this. It was kind of one of those cartoons where the lights just went out. It was like when you're have you ever had surgery before when they put you under?
Yeah.
I mean, I was gone. And then I woke up yesterday, and the wife got me, and I was not hurting when I woke up. And the wife, I was drugged up. I was in a comatose state for about 29 straight hours, and then she's been drugging me up all morning. So this should be fun.
All right,
That's what I feel like.
We'll hopefully get through this. Let me know if you get to a place where you just can't go any longer, and
I'll go.
We'll stop.
I'm not feeling much right now. I'm on Toradol. So I got Toradol, I got anti-inflammatories, I got codeine. I'm rolling with a little bit of everything.
So let's get the worst part over with early. Week 1 was
This
an
is the best
absolute
part.
abomination for me. I went 1-5. I would like to thank Oregon State. Thank you.
I was watching that game. I was like, man, don't let my guy get shut out.
Came really close on a couple others.
Yeah. You know what they say, though? Close only counts in horseshoes, hand grenades, and slow dancing.
Now, didn't I get a push on Illinois, Indiana? Or does
yes, you get a push for that.
So I'm 1-4-1.
You're 1-4-1.
Yeah.
We haven't put out the official stats yet because
Okay.
we got that at -3.
So I'm 1-4-1. I was in great shape on Liberty, Southern Miss, and lost in the triple overtime.
Did you watch the game?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
Liberty's not a good football team.
Well, we'll talk about, I guess, Thursday. We'll probably need to talk. I got on the list to talk about today. The starting quarterback's out now.
Yeah.
So he's hurt for like 8 weeks. Line's at 6.5. The kid they got behind him can run and do some things now Freeze will figure out how to score with that kid, but it's a good week to bet against Liberty if you're going to bet because I think it'll take some time for him to get. I mean, he's facing a really good defense.
So let's go over my my performance.
All right, you want to start
here.
with you?
Yeah, we'll start with me.
All right, so we got Ohio State -16 against Notre Dame. So that was your first.
Not a good one. Not a good one. I was hoping late that we'd get an extra score. We being the Buckeyes didn't happen. Kudos to Notre Dame. They really gave Ohio State a lot.
Yeah, I'm almost a little. I'm a little soft on Ohio State after that game more than I am impressed with Notre Dame.
I was too.
I
mean, now look, I was. So I'm going to be a victim here because Ole Miss played 3. I got back here as the second half was starting in the Ohio State Notre Dame game and still had a story to write. So I had that game on that TV, and I had Florida, Utah on this TV, but I had it muted because I'm transcribing.
Right.
I was writing about Jackson Dart, about Troy Brown. I needed to hear the quotes. I was trying to write. I was focused. I didn't see the games. By the time I got finished and was able to look at the games, they were into the fourth quarter. So I didn't see it enough to go. But what I did see looking up here and there, I wasn't blown away by Ohio State.
I've said this the whole time, and people beat me up on this a lot. They beat me up on it last year a little bit. I'm not a C.J. Stroud fan. I mean, I'm sure he's a great kid, but
right.
I don't know, man. It's kind of like everybody, I guess no pun intended with your Chicago Bears and Ohio State, but like Justin Fields the same way. It's like they do some things really well, but he's not a great passer of the football. And then he'll turn around and now he'll throw for 5 touchdowns because I said that next week, but he's not very accurate. You know what I mean? Like he misses easy throws. For somebody that's supposed to be that good, if we're talking about this guy being a Heisman Trophy winner, he missed a lot of easy throws.
I was reminded in what I saw Saturday of their game against Michigan last year.
Yeah.
I mean, where it was like, meh. And then he was great against Utah in the Rose Bowl. And then you watch Utah against Florida, and you're like, well, maybe there's a reason for that.
Well, everybody was all out and hurt and everything in that game. Utah, both sides. But
all right, so I lost on Notre Dame, Ohio State.
All right, so we got then we had the magic winner, Oregon State plus 2.5 against Boise.
Got that one. Kudos. Thanks again to the Beavers.
Did you watch any of that? I did not.
I did not.
I was at the hospital by the time
it was late. I was by about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I was footballed out. I got
it TiVo'd. I got a couple games I need to watch when I get back, but that's one of them. Because I want to see what Oregon State's about. Because they Oregon State, man, I want to watch it, but they show up sometimes, and you're like, damn, they could be pretty good.
And a lot of times they're very good at home. They're one of those, if I'm correct, they're a swing team.
Yeah, Corvallis is a tough place to play.
It's especially good at home, and they're not particularly good away from there.
All right, we're going to talk about this one because I'm fired up about this one.
All right.
Illinois, you got the push at plus 3.
Yeah, and they dominated the entire game. That's one that –
You think so?
I thought Illinois was dominant.
I thought they were. Let me tell you I think they're both better. Let me tell you where I think the difference is. I think Tom taking over the defense at Indiana has made a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what else bothers me about this game? Can I say this? I'm probably going to piss some people off. Tim Brando was wearing me out on the broadcast.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
I'm sure he's a nice guy.
He's one of those broadcasters who is the opposite of the ones that I like. And look, Taylor's a really good friend. Taylor Zarzer will call a game, and you won't even realize that Taylor's doing it because he's just calling the game. Some of these guys with the big personalities make the game about them.
Literally everything he was saying in the broadcast was wrong. If I heard Tom Allen was a defensive coordinator I met Tom Allen, a defensive coordinator at Ole Miss. He wasn't the defensive coordinator at Ole Miss.
Right. He was just the linebackers coach.
He was just the linebackers coach. And he said that 46 times in the broadcast, at least 46. And then he was talking about a fight. I saw it. I saw a punch happen after that. And they showed a replay.
That happened it wasn't.
And there was nothing.
Right.
They didn't even shove each other.
Well, and he talked about when Tom got his teeth knocked out. That happened in Oxford.
No, it did happen at Arkansas State too.
Oh, it happened too. Okay.
It happened both places.
I saw it happen to him.
It did happen at Arkansas State too.
Okay.
It happened both places actually. So
okay.
I guess he's right, but it did happen here. So you're right too.
Yeah, because I saw it. It was right in front of me.
Yeah. He also went to the hospital at Arkansas State because we had I love Tom. We had a 7-on-7 with boosters, coaches versus boosters, 7-on-7. And Tom took the thing so seriously, like he was spatted up, eye black, like he's borderline, like ready to go hit somebody. And he played so hard. It was on turf, summer, July. It was hot. His kidneys started shutting down. He had to be admitted to the hospital for 4 days. Like it was a bad deal. Like
some people
had to bring the ambulance to.
Some people like that just don't know how to turn off.
He's a stud though.
He is, and a great guy.
Yeah, great guy. But when he left, well, that's what I'm saying. When he left, went to South Florida, turned them around instantly, and that's how. Then he gets the job at Indiana. That's how he got the head job. And but he is calling it again now. And then the key part I think is they got the transfer quarterback from Missouri last year. And I can never pronounce the kid's name right.
Bazelak.
Mm-hmm. Did really well. They got some players. I think they're better than they were last year. I'm kind of excited to see them going forward. But I do want to say what you were saying. Illinois is better. They played physical. That was a great game. I texted you, I was highly entertained with the Big Ten that night.
Give the Big Ten credit. The Thursday and Friday, they stole the show with those two games. The Purdue Penn State game was terrific.
Yeah.
And then Indiana, Illinois was terrific. And there's a difference between great football and entertaining football. It doesn't have to be great football to be entertaining.
That's true.
And those were fun games to watch because they came down to
except for Iowa Hawkeyes.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Boy, jeez.
I didn't even have the heart to text you.
It was just unbelievable.
That was some of the worst stuff I've ever seen in my life.
Just unbelievable.
All right.
All right. So what else did I lose?
All right, Tulsa. You had Tulsa -6.5.
They lost in overtime.
Yep, they lost in overtime.
Yeah, so I was close.
But you had a -6.5.
Yeah.
So, not really.
Not really. I know. Whatever.
But I will say this: the Wyoming. If you start doing the transient properties things, the Wyoming loss to Illinois doesn't look that bad anymore. Like, maybe Illinois and Indiana are a little better than we think. Than we were expecting. How about that? And this one actually shocked me. This was one pick I actually liked of yours. Was you had North Texas +11 against SMU.
Yeah, that did not.
It did not go well.
That did not go well.
Like they got smoked. That surprised me, to be honest with you. Rhett Lashley making a good debut on that. So, and then you finished it up with your loss in Hattiesburg. You had Southern Miss money line. Went to triple overtime.
And the game that I wanted to go with and could have gone with, and I talked myself out of it, was Rutgers. And then Rutgers pulls it off at BC. Yeah. Just a bad day.
It's a bad day. That's what I was talking about. You just picked the wrong 6.
Had a bad day.
That's okay, though. It'll all come back around.
Had I taken my 2 SEC games that I really liked, I would have gotten those. But I was determined not to do that, and I didn't, and I won't. But
Why are you determined? Just pick what you want to pick.
Well, because we need.
Who gives a shit?
We need to be varied.
Who cares?
All right, so I did poorly. You went 4-2 and won your. So let's talk about yours.
So let's talk about this. And so I'm going to start this off with I'm high as a kite on Saturday night, and I get irritated because my phone. I got to figure out how to take this email notification off my deal. So I'm getting ding, 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 ding. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yep.
And then I realized on your message board, somebody tagged my name, and they said I couldn't pick games. Well, I just want to go on record and saying, like, I may suck from here on out. But some ass clown was over there saying I couldn't pick games and all that stuff.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, I'm 8-4 with hitting both of my underdog picks straight up.
Yeah, you're doing well to the point that I'm a little worried about already the competition here. But
so,
yes.
I mean, what do you want from me? You want me to go perfect? I guess I got to go perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
I'd prefer you not.
So whoever
perfect.
that was talking shit, you can kiss my ass. All right. That was my painkiller, Mom. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Let me readjust here. All right. So let's talk. So first of all, Arkansas -6. Yep. Very good game. I hit that one. I was actually concerned.
A very entertaining game.
Entertaining. They were physical. Cincinnati's well coached, and to the point to where I don't think normal staffs would have been in that game with those players. Is that fair?
Yeah, I thought it was an interesting game. I had it on. It kicked off 30 minutes before Ole Miss. I had Georgia, Florida. Excuse me. I had Georgia, Oregon on my one thing, and I had Arkansas, Cincinnati on another. So I was kind of watching and then trying to watch the game I was covering. It was a disaster from a mental standpoint. But anyway, I knew I wanted to be able to talk about the SEC games, and quickly the Oregon Georgia game was over. Like, it was obvious, like, oh, this is not a contest. And so I watched more of the Arkansas game.
Just a really physical game, man. I think Arkansas is who we think they are. If I was anything, even though they covered the spread and all that stuff, I was really impressed with Cincinnati. I didn't think it was going to be terribly close, and they are a quick U client, and I love them to death. But they had to replace a ton, man.
Yeah, they did a great
look
job.
Like it. You know what I'm saying? They look like what they looked last year.
What's the kid's name? Slusher. He went out pretty early, and then Catalan went out pretty early, and they picked on their backups big time. Like, Cincinnati went after the backups, and it worked in the second half, because in the first half they were having a hard time moving the football, and in the second half they put up a bunch of offense. On the flip side, Barry Odom's worried about his defensive line. That was as aggressive as I've ever seen him be from a blitzing standpoint.
Well, he had to change the looks. I got to your point about that. I did listen this morning, got up to that point, and I agree with you. But here's the other thing: is like, he realized he can't just sit back and play stuff. Like, dude, I'm telling you, the Cincinnati coaching staff, I don't know what their record holds for the rest of the year.
Yeah,
every play they seem to put, they got the right matchup. They seem to. It was almost like on the board. Now, their X may not be as good as the O that they were playing against, but they had the advantage on the board every single play on offense.
I'm a
and
huge
defense.
Fickle fan.
Man,
I think he's terrific.
I was like, golly. And then you see and you got good coaches at Arkansas too, right?
Yeah.
And that was a fun game to watch.
I thought
coaching geek standpoint.
I thought Bryles called a brilliant game in the second half. I mean, because they're in trouble otherwise. They had to keep the offense on the field. They had to score. They're interesting. I don't think they're quite as good as they were a year ago.
I don't know, man. Well, if they got to stay healthy, those injuries, did they find out anything with the safety?
They haven't updated them. I mean, they said that Slusher's not as bad as they thought it was going to be. That's the one I heard about. And I don't know about Catalan. He just has had a hard time staying healthy the last couple of seasons.
He's a good player, though.
He's a good player, yeah. And then, they are what they are at quarterback. You've got this guy that he's late on his reads. He throws behind receivers, and then the son of a gun just makes plays.
Yeah.
And they're a little better at running back. Arkansas can run the football, and they're pretty good up front. They're going to be an interesting team that's bunched up. But like against the elite teams of the SEC, no chance. But you're right about Cincinnati, by the way. If I'm out there and I'm a Power 5 school and I'm looking to make a hire,
I think you got.
I'm on the phone with Luke Fickell before I do something.
And look, and last year was kind of like, okay, well, you see this all the time, and I hate this in football. You see it in basketball all the time. You see somebody make a run in the NCAA tournament, and some big school hires a basketball coach.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work out. And they're like, why?
Yeah.
Well, because your guard got hot for 3 games. And the other team, he gets a job out of it. Probably like last year, I had a look, he's building Cincinnati up. But last year, getting to the playoff and doing what he did last year, like, okay, well, he has Ritter at quarterback. He has Sauce at corner, and they have good players. But, dude, what they did Saturday, I know they lost. Like, I'm paying what does it take? That's the conversation I'm having.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a change somewhere in this league, what does it take? Name your price. Name your price.
Yeah.
And I don't want just you. I want you and then whoever you decide to bring. His decision-making as an organization, his decision-making is impeccable. And I'm a huge fan. And I didn't really, and I got to be honest, I really wasn't aware. I know I talked about last week too, but it's really that, and it's really hit me that hard is I wasn't aware of it as much until I started meeting with them and working with them. And I'm just like, I'm a fan. I'm super impressed. And I've seen a lot of really good dudes. I'm like, I think this guy could be the future of coaching. I'm talking about being one of the greats if he gets in the right place.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I'm impressed with him too. There were a couple of times in that game that they were in trouble and they just kept fighting.
It's culture, scheme, it's everything.
It's everything. Yeah. All right. So you got that one.
All right. So my first loss that started everybody picking on me because they don't know how to. I apparently don't know anything. Is I learned my lesson. I took Oregon plus 17.5, and that was over at about the first drive. And we'll get to who do I owe an apology to in a minute, but this will be part of it. But here's the thing, and nobody's talking about this because I know you were busy and doing those things. I don't think people understand this. Georgia scored touchdowns on their first 7 drives of the game.
Yeah, I quit watching
and they took everybody else out. They could have scored 100 points in that game.
Yeah. When they got to like 30-something, I stopped watching.
They scored touchdowns on their first 7 possessions.
Yeah.
Against and everybody's like, Oregon sucks. Oregon doesn't suck.
I don't know whether Oregon sucks or not, but I can tell you this. I can look on a field and look at talent and go, oh, my God, they're elite. Georgia's elite. Dude. There's no fall off.
I mean, I don't know if this is drug induced or whatever, and I will reconvene when I get my face fixed this week on Thursday. You would be hard pressed to talk me out of they're not the best team in the country right now, including Alabama.
It's more than fair.
I mean, I know it's Alabama's. It's a glad, but we're heading right down the same road we were on last year.
Yeah,
I don't know who beats them doing playing like that. I know it's Overreaction Monday, but
it's Overreaction Monday. But the difference is, I don't know that this year there's anybody that can beat either one of them. And so the championship game might literally mean nothing other than what color you wear in the playoffs.
Last year, you felt like you had a chance a little bit because we're not going to be able to score much, but their offense is not great. Dude, their offense looked beyond elite because those guys have gotten a year older.
Yeah,
Washington's a year older. He's more mature. And he showed the freak show stuff Saturday that everybody's been waiting on him to do.
Yeah.
We recruited a mess out of him here at Ole Miss, by the way. Didn't work. And then you got, dude, I don't know, man. They got dudes everywhere. But I got an apology to issue to those guys in just a minute. Then I got back on my favorite bet of the week. which was the easiest bet of all time, was the North Carolina App State over.
Boy, you crushed that.
Dude, I was like, I was. So I had
you had that like by halftime.
I had one of my buddies text me because he asked me what my favorite bet of the week was. I guess Friday, and I said, "Look, my favorite one is this App State North Carolina over." And he texted me, he's like, "Thanks, man." And at that time, it was like into the first quarter, and they'd scored like 40-something points. And I was like, "Dude, I've seen weird things happen. Let's just wait a second." I didn't have to wait too much longer.
Not much longer.
Look, North Carolina is really good on offense. Our boy Longo's got the weapons around. He's been there 3 years. He's got the pieces that he likes, okay?
Yeah.
And the quarterback's a really good player.
He is a good player.
Really good player. They throw the ball as good as anybody. Defensively, they're going to continue to struggle. They just they have moments, but they don't. Like anything. It's nuts. And I want to talk about this while we're here. And no, I don't know how many people have talked about this yet. I've been out of it for about 24 hours. That game didn't have to be like that. When they kicked the onside kick, did you see the end of this game?
I did not.
Okay, so App State goes down. They go for 2 for the win, and they don't get it. So they're going to kick an onside kick. Well, they kick an onside kick, and Cuz for North Carolina runs the onside kick back for a touchdown. If he falls to the ground like he's coached to do or supposed to do, they take a knee and the game's over with. This play will be on every single teach tape in every university. There's 2 plays I want to talk about, but this is one of them that will be on every teach tape in every college in America and probably every high school. If he falls to the ground right there, the game is over with. They take a knee and they're done. But instead, he scores the touchdown, gives them so they have 30-something seconds, and they drive down and go for 2 to tie the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, game's over with.
Yeah.
Take a knee and get out. And they got to go for 2 twice. They actually ran the same exact play both times on the go for 2. And the first time he was wide open. The second time they thought, which I agree with, they were going to cover him. He can run in. It was an option play that App State's really good at these RPO option plays in the flat. But give credit to App State for battling. But, dude, it wasn't nobody stopping anybody. But the biggest thing for me is you got to understand, have game situational awareness, because that will get your ass beat.
Yeah.
And it should have that time. Fall to the ground and take a knee and let's go home. They should have never got to that point. Does that make sense?
It's kind of like running a toss sweep at the 1-yard line when you're about to go in for 2 scores.
Yeah, we'll get to that one in just a second. But yeah, that was.
So you got the over there.
Got the over there, and then I got the Ole Miss Troy under at 57.5 was stealing.
You did.
And it was basically what I said. I said it was either going to be. I said it could be 45-0 or it could be 34-17, somewhere in there. I could see it go either way. Look, Troy, I will tell you this. The defense, I thought Troy's offense was going to have a tough time scoring against Ole Miss's defense. But I was probably even a little bit more impressed with Ole Miss's defense.
Yeah, I was too.
Than I was expecting.
I was too.
I thought they did a great job. Now, part of that was Troy's fault too. They never pressed them vertical to stretch it out, and so those safeties are downhill, and they were filling.
They were. It was physical.
Safeties were filling and stopping any kind of threat of run that you had. I'm talking about physical play by the back end. I loved it. I love physical play, obviously. But Troy, I think, was a little concerned up front, and so their game plan was to get rid of it. And I've already heard it. I heard my neighbor talking about it the other day. Well, he threw for 275 yards. Guys, but look, he was sick. He was getting it out.
Yeah.
To keep them from getting home. I'm not worried. Like, defensively, I don't know if they've been tested. Like, they're going to get somebody that can protect up front is going to stretch them downfield before you'll know how really good they are. But from what I saw, I was very impressed defensively. Offensively, 2 things. 6 is really good. Which I've known for a long time. Zach Evans. Yeah. I think I referred to him as Alvin Kamara 2.0 at one point in time on the show.
He's a special player.
He doesn't need blocking.
Yeah.
He makes his own stuff work.
Yep.
And I was glad to see something. I don't know if anybody caught this, but Lane was going tempo, and he was trying to get out. He was tapping, and Lane just kept going tempo and handing the ball, basically saying, you're going to have to learn for me to ride you. Like, he's got to mentally get that part.
Yeah.
He's that talented. He was trying to come out a couple of times, and Lane just kept going tempo and getting the ball. I thought that was awesome. It was a good job by Lane there. That was my first thing. Offensive, and then my last thing is if you're an Ole Miss fan, listen to this, or you're any kind of person, you better get your pocketbooks open. Quinshon Judkins is really good.
Yeah, really good.
And either Ole Miss is going to pay him this year or somebody else is going to pay him. Like,
Are you accusing possible tampering?
I would, if I was somewhere else, I'd be tampering the shit out of him.
Yeah, look, they know. They already know. They know they're going to have to get all those ducks in a row.
Like if you told me, and he's a true freshman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's 18.
One of the most, I mean, I know some of his runs were here and there, but just the way he ran it, man. I mean, just that dude's.
He runs physically, and yet he can still have finesse to his game.
They just, you don't usually, you get one or the other kind of deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like if you told me.
He instigates contact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I want him to stay healthy and do all that stuff, but like he chooses violence.
Yes.
And I, that's, he's like pulling on my heartstrings there, but I love the way the kid runs. Now they got to figure out the passing game. And it's not the receivers or anything like that. There were a couple decisions, that they got to get figured out. And obviously I think that's what's wrong with why he's going to start the other one, this week. And I don't.
Well, look, the fact that
because in SEC play, you're not going to be able to line up and run the ball like that in SEC play.
No, the fact that he's doing this tells you that he's just not sold on one yet. I mean, He's not doing this. This isn't to appease a kid or to appease a segment of fans or something. He just doesn't know yet. I think he wants it to be Dart.
Well, yeah, I mean, Dart could do it, and he's got and that's what I told you. I don't think there's a competition.
He's got a really high ceiling. It's just gonna take him a minute to get there.
And you're not gonna get any answers this week playing Central Arkansas.
No.
But like, the pick, that was a bad pick, man. Have y'all talked about that yet? I mean, we talked about it a lot on Saturday. It was too high. He should have known he had nobody holding the backside safety, and that's a dead route. Like, you got to know that going into the play. That's a dead route where he threw the ball. There was nothing to hold the backside safety, and he stared it down. I mean, that ball's getting picked 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you throw
now, I think there was supposed to be, I will say this, I want to make sure the fans understand this too. There was a guy that was supposed to be going there, and he went too flat, so maybe the receiver broke it off too early. We used to call it over route to drag the backside safety, and he was really low. So, but that's part of your progression. I mean, if he's not getting pulled, you don't ever throw that ball.
From listening to Lane, and look, y'all know more football than I'll ever possibly know. From listening to Lane, it was just the wrong read completely.
Yeah.
It's not where the ball was supposed to be.
I wouldn't think that. But the other thing is if he's sitting there, there's somebody else open. So I did see the end zone copy. I did not see the wide deep copy, so I don't know what they had on the front side. But that one, they got to get something there. And it's not that he does great, but you cannot afford to turn the ball over in SEC games like that.
Right.
That'll get your ass beat. So, but they run the ball good enough.
So you got that one. You got the Ole Miss under.
All right. All right. LSU -3. There's going to be a ton of Overreaction Monday on this one.
Already is. I've got mailbag questions going. Is Brian Kelly on the hot seat? And I'm like, what? Wait, what?
Look, they were better. People are going to say what they want to. Look, at the end of the day, they muffed 2 punts and got a field goal blocked and an extra point blocked. They had 4 special teams errors.
Did he play
by 1 point?
Did he play the wrong quarterback?
I will say no, and this is why.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and let me explain why. And I think we're going to get to this when we talk about Auburn and things. Their protection, their right tackle struggle, man. And when your protection is struggling, you got to, like, if you got a stationary guy sitting back there, you're sacked. He got out. They were like the first play of the game. I mean, he runs like 40 yards.
Oh, he's a super athletic player.
Anybody else gets sacked.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like, you got to give yourself a fighting chance. And I think that's why Robbie Ashford had success at Auburn. And he's not. Jaden Daniels is a good player, but so is Nussmeier. But I think he gives you a little bit more athletically to do something when the pocket breaks down. But here's the thing: there's going to be overreaction money on that. The offensive line, they got to work some things out. And Brian Kelly Wood is smart.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: the 2 muffs was terrible. Offensive line struggled, and I was really because I coached that position on special teams. So the blocks, okay, both blocks occurred the exact same way, and they actually replaced the guy and put another guy in there without. I will guarantee they go over it this week, and so is every other team in America. This is the other play that's going to be on there.
Right.
is so when you're the left wing on a PAT field goal, you have to force, and you know where the block's coming from, and they're always going to set and you can tell they don't block from both sides. I don't know if fans know that or not. They determine where they're going to block from, and it's pretty easy to see. They don't send unless it's just end of the game, but the left wing allowed an inside pressure. Like what you do is, this is like I always would tell my wings, like, this is your gap, the gap closest to the tight end.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody comes to this gap. Nobody. And you step here and you secure that gap. First things first. And now if nobody's coming through this gap, then you can go a late push to the outside. Because unless your snap and hold, your operation time is too slow, it's damn near impossible to block it off the edge.
Right.
Okay, the NFL says hello.
Right.
Okay, it's just damn near impossible if your operation time is correct. Now, if your operation's slow, you bobble, things like that are different. But both times, they just gave a free release to the inside. You're going to get it blocked. They never made them run the hoop. And both times, the left wing just, and it's going to get blocked.
That's like TV kept showing the kicker. I'm like, the kicker, it wasn't the kicker, guys.
Yeah, it wasn't the kicker. It was the left wing.
Yeah.
And then they replaced him and put another guy in there, and he did the same damn thing. And it was just like you got to be like, it's a thankless position because you're going to get the shit knocked out of you every time. If they're coming for the block, you're exposed. You're basically saying, putting your hands behind your back and saying, punch me. It hurts, but that's football. And he was real soft and came off back late. Don't worry about that guy. This is the one that's going to get you blocked. If they block it back there, good for them.
Right.
But that was heartbreaking. But Norvell probably put his cooker went from about the LSU's a better team than Florida State. And I know people are going to do all this, and now I'll tell you what, I'm fired up for it because people are going to start fading LSU, and I'm going to be able to get them for cheap. I think let me tell you something else that lost that game for them. Their third down on defense was atrocious. At one time, they were like 70%. If you're still on here or somebody, I don't know what Florida State was on third down. They couldn't get off the field.
I'm not sitting here going, I'm going to fade them, but I'm completely off any. Like we did the thought exercise a couple weeks ago where the football gods come down and tell you Alabama's not winning the West. Who is? Well, now LSU's out of that conversation in my mind after watching what I saw Saturday and then yesterday.
Yeah, they're still going to win. They're still going to win games.
I think Smith tore his ACL.
Oh, how terrible is that?
I mean, they lost critical guys. They didn't play disciplined at all.
How about the targeting call?
Jeez.
That's on teach tape, isn't it? Launched, crown of helmet, and head to head. He had the trifecta.
See, I think Kelly's going to win there, but I don't think this is going to be his team. There's too many weaknesses on this team,
but he will.
And they've got issues.
Yeah, they will get better as the year goes on. Write it down. They lost a game that they shouldn't have lost by 1 point, and Florida State tried to give them the game, and they're going to win some games. I'm not ready to.
Oh no, sure.
I'm not ready. I would rather play them now than play them later.
They've got a couple coming up soon, Mississippi State and I think Auburn, that I'm pretty interested in. I want to see what those games look like.
It's going to be a great year in the league because I think they're just so.
Yeah, there's a lot of bunching.
A lot of parity.
All right, so you missed on LSU.
And my last one, my favorite one, the money line pick, Florida over the Utah Utes.
You got it.
And I'm here to tell my man Chase Parham to watch out for AR-15.
He has already apologized. Chase has tweeted and apologized.
I don't mean to. I didn't tell you this before, but while I was high on drugs and my painkillers and Saturday night, I literally turned on the post game show to see if as he was watching the Florida game to see if he was going. God dang, see what his. No, look, he's a special kid. Billy has done an unbelievable job in a short period of time of getting them to kind of buy into what he is and what he's trying to do, which is what I've said the whole time. I'm just telling you that I'm a believer in Billy Napier.
I know you are. Yeah, you've been on record on that for a long time.
Not saying that they're going to, I didn't know what they were going to be.
Right.
But I was very impressed with what they did.
That place was as rowdy as it's been in a long, long time.
Which is why, to be honest with you, as the week went on, that's part of the reason that I took as the week went on. I liked it more and more. But look, man, they're going to have something to say about this SEC East now. besides Georgia.
Well, there's a big game this
They're going to
week.
have a lot to say about the second place.
Big game this weekend in Gainesville that we'll talk about in
Yeah.
a little bit. All right, so yeah, you did well. I didn't. So you're 4-2.
So I was plus 2. So this is the first week. I was plus 1. I was plus 2.18 units. You're going to be 1, 4, and 1.
That's correct.
So you're going to be minus 3 units.
Okay. All right. So what team do you owe an apology to after week 1?
All right.
Your
So
overreaction.
My overreaction Monday. I owe a major apology to Stetson Bennett. And and I don't know if I've done it publicly. I just know privately I have, even with the coaches at Georgia that I've talked to. Look, I went and watched this guy throw live at Georgia last year when JT, I went to the Arkansas game and saw that. Like, this guy looks like my 15-year-old son out there throwing football. You know what I mean? Just looks like just a dude. This guy, they scored 7 of 7 touchdowns. He threw for 300-something yards, ran for another 100-something. You want to hear what I would do today? Grind, I know you're out there. I may go sprinkle a little $10 wager on Stetson Bennett to win the Heisman Trophy this year. Because they're going to win, and with that offensive weapons, his numbers are going to be stupid.
Oh.
Because you got to be able to get them at like plus 5,000.
Yeah, it's
got to be good. Who wins the Heisman Trophy? It's always somebody on a winning team.
I mean, the favorite in the clubhouse right now is Bryce Young again.
But they're not going to do it again because they're going to split their votes between him and Will Anderson. I'm going
and half their roster.
Yeah, half their roster. Jahmyr Gibbs going to get some too. I'm going grind.
I mean, I'm
just going to put $10 on it. But that's who I owe my apology to.
Okay.
Because I'm telling you right now, Georgia's probably the best team in the country. And I was resigned to giving them the third best team. That was scary, man.
I know.
That was scary.
That was different.
Yeah. That looked like Georgia last year with a really good offense. They look better than they did last year. And that's scary.
What team owes you an apology?
The team that owes me an apology is probably the Louisville Cardinals.
Yeah.
I was riding.
You loved that game.
I loved that game.
They got whacked.
All right, so
whacked.
Full disclosure here, that was in the middle of so I was in the hospital while the good stuff was kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
I literally I was going through the scores. And I was like, whoa. I handed the phone to my wife and said, could you read this for me? Because I think I can't read this right. Syracuse thumped their ass.
Yeah, Syracuse took them behind a woodshed, man. I mean, that was wow.
So, yeah, cost me $25. But yeah, that one surprised me. Who do you owe an apology to?
I mean, Florida, I think I've undersold. I think I underappreciated how much their culture had begun to deteriorate under Mullen. And I knew that Napier would do well there because I've talked to too many people like you who know him, who all rave about him. I thought it would take a little time. I don't now think it's going to take as much time.
It's amazing when you got a quarterback, what you can do.
Well, and that quarterback was on the roster in Gainesville the last couple of years too. I mean, that's the crazy part, right, is that it shows you that Dan had the guy and didn't know how to use him.
Well, I will say I can't really criticize Dan Mullen on his quarterback development. He's been pretty damn good.
He has. But on this one, they just didn't make it go. And so that's probably who I owe an apology to. And the team that owes me an apology is Iowa. I mean, we're not going to be able to do this all year. I mean, this is –
Dude, a field goal and 2 safeties. That's how you got 7 points.
I mean, at one point, they punted from their own from South Dakota State's 37, and it was a no-brainer to punt.
I'm going to go ahead and spoil your – I don't know if it's going to be my underdog to win outright, but it will be one of my bets. I'm taking the Iowa State Cyclones against your Iowa Hawkeyes.
Okay, so how is it that Brian – I know it's his dad, but how can Brian Ferentz stay the OC after that performance?
Because it's your dad.
Is this going to be the end of the Ferentz era? Because that's a really talented defense.
They keep winning.
They're not going to keep winning like
that. But here's
the
thing.
You're not going to win with that offense. Now, defensively, they were very, very good.
Let me tell you what I like about Iowa.
Sure.
Is they really don't care what you think as long as the dubs keep coming.
Yeah, well, I know that.
They don't care if they win. Obviously, they don't care if they win 7-3.
They have 27 yards of offense. But you're not going to win like that in today's.
They won on Saturday.
They did. And they beat a good team, but come on.
Who'd they beat?
South Dakota State.
I had to call you. You're going to go that they beat a good team. They beat an FCS team.
Look, man, I'm struggling.
How about this? They're 3-point favorites against Iowa State.
I'm aware.
So it's
3.5.
I feel safe taking that pick because I know just out of your emotions you can't take that pick. So that will be one of my picks and may be my money line pick on this weekend.
Well, on Thursday I'll do the show wearing my Iowa football jersey.
I'm coming in Cyclones quick, you Clint. It's quick you versus your Cyclones. We got some
Hawkeyes. Yeah. All right. So let's
painkillers.
We'll get to a couple things in a minute. I do want to tell you we're also. I've got so many papers here.
You do. I'm low-key impressed, though.
We're also brought to you by Walk-On Sports Bistro. They put everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into our mouth-watering, made-from-scratch Louisiana cuisine like po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, all in front of 70-plus TVs, more than 40 ice-cold beers on tap in Ridgeland or Oxford. Make sure you stop. Tell them that you appreciate them sponsoring McCready and Siskey. And also, whether you're watching the game at home or tailgating, let Walk-Ons take care of all of your tailgating needs this season. Inquire today about their family and friends bundles, their tailgate platters. Order online or at the convenient Walk-Ons app. It is a great app on your phone. So
we had Walk-Ons Thursday after the show. Inspired me.
Yeah.
Mom and Dad came in town, so we ordered to go because I was hurting a little bit after the show on Thursday. So we got a little Walk-Ons to go. Got a little burger, some onion rings. It's on point.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had Walk-Ons rolling.
Also want to welcome a new sponsor to the show, Wexford Labs. Wexford Labs was the EPA 2021 Safer Partner of the Year. They're the makers of CleanSide. It's the only disinfectant wipe on the market with 30-second kill time against SARS-CoV-2, the cause of COVID-19. CleanSide is citric acid based. It has no harsh chemicals. Wexford Labs products are engineered to meet the lowest EPA toxicity standards. There's no PPE, signal words, health warnings needed. Every one of their cleaning solutions leverages a powerful set of active ingredients that combine antimicrobial efficacy with a more user-friendly toxicity profile. These wipes are perfect for schools, nurseries, hospitals, office buildings, households, dentist offices, and more. To get more information, email glovesandwipes@gmail.com or go to wexfordlabs.com. That's WEXFORD labs.com.
We got plenty of doctors and lawyers and coaches out here that can go get some of those wipes. I need to go support my guy up there, get him taken care of. I like how they got you to read that because there was no way we would be at the end of the show, but I figured out how to pronounce some of that stuff. There's like, yeah, let Neal read this one. I like that. All right. I know it was Thursday, but how about this Pitt West Virginia game? This Thursday football was like really good, back to back. Pitt West Virginia, Purdue Penn State. What was your take on Pitt West Virginia?
Great game, super entertaining, a lot of fun. West Virginia's better than they were a year ago. Pittsburgh's a good team. Just a really fun football game. I mean, kudos to the people who said, hey, let's play this game again. This is a great rivalry. Needs to get played. It was emotion. It's what college football is all about. It's what it was. It was one of those deals where someone in Mississippi looks at it and goes, boy, they don't like each other. This is good football.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It would be like you taking the Egg Bowl away for 10 years and deciding to play it again. I mean, that's how important it is to those people. I hated it for the receiver at West Virginia. I mean, he literally carried their team the entire game and then just dropped one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just easy, and then led to the pick six. But they got a big game this week, which we'll talk about. And then the Purdue-Penn State game, dude, Purdue is the better football team.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it happened because I'm going to bet on Purdue. Purdue's got a good football team, and Penn State's going to get overinflated. Purdue's going to be underinflated, and I think there's going to be some opportunities to make some money.
I'm already going to tell you there's one that I'm kind of looking at. I want to see what the line comes out, but I want to see next week Auburn-Penn State line.
Yep.
That's got an Auburn win written all over it. In my opinion, I could be dead wrong.
Yep.
I mean, but the people are going to look at Penn State and go, they've got these wins and they're Penn State, and playing at Auburn is going to be a different deal for them.
The corner, help me out because my brain's not all here today. The corner at Penn State, whose dad played in the league, number 9. What's his name? That was making all the plays.
Yeah, I don't
anyway,
remember.
Somebody can help me. I'm struggling. But as long as they didn't throw to him again on his side, they were completing passes all the way down the field. It's real easy. Just go. Don't throw his way. I mean, he was unbelievable. Number 9. I don't know his number, but I'm sure everybody else is going to see that too. But yeah, Purdue. Oh, and there's going to be a lot of play call questions about not running out the clock and things like that. But that's who they are, man. I mean, Brom's going to do that. Brom's done it everywhere he's been.
Right.
And it's going to work for him as much as it's going to.
Joey Porter Jr.
Joey Porter Jr. Thank you, Grind. Like, Joey Porter Jr. is a dude.
Yeah.
I mean, guy is unbelievable. Long, great ball skills, drove on the ball unbelievably well. And Purdue's got receivers now. They're better talented than they've been in a long time. Purdue's going to make some noise in the Big Ten. All right.
You're not the first person to say that, by the way, about Purdue. There's some people that think Purdue's going to.
I didn't think that until I watched the game. I got to be honest with you. But, I was overly impressed with what they did, especially on offense. And, again, at the end of the game is what it is. They just kept throwing to Joey Porter Jr. and, he'd make a play, then they'd throw it somewhere else, and they keep moving the ball. But running back's good. They got a good offense. Quarterback's really good. I like him. So.
All right, let's do a little quick exercise here.
All right.
One game, overreactions. Would you re-rank the SEC East, SEC West from what you've seen?
I would. Both of them.
All right. Give me an overreaction Monday re-ranking of the SEC East.
All right. Georgia's better than I thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. No.
How is that possible, though? You know what I mean? They're better than what I thought they were.
Well, I think it's just natural to go, they lose all this talent to the NFL. They're going to fall off, and they haven't fallen off.
I was kind of okay, but my focus, I have to be honest, my focus was on the defense. I was like, they're going to be fine because they're going to have guys and all that. But offensively is where I was just like, wow. Brock Bowers.
Yeah, Bowers is different.
And you got Washington.
Yeah.
And, I mean, they got dudes
McConkey
everywhere.
and just dudes.
Just everywhere. And they've gotten better than they were last year. And then, I don't know.
And they're a very physical team.
Oh, yeah.
Downfield blocking.
How about my guy Malachi Starks? We called that one, didn't we?
Yeah, he's a beast.
We called that one?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they're better than what I thought. I don't think anybody contends with those guys. I'm going my second best team in the East right now is probably the Florida Gators.
I'm really interested to see Kentucky, Florida this weekend. I mean, Kentucky's had that circle for a while. I'm not holding Kentucky's first half against Miami against them. Kentucky's got some personnel issues going on, though. And
I need to go back and watch it. I did not get a chance to watch much of that game because of my Saturday. I have to actually go back and watch it when we get out of here because I will be prepared for that game come Thursday. I want to watch because I watched the Florida game. I'm not going to overreact playing MAC teams and all that stuff in the first half, but I'll go back and watch because I want to see what the problems were. I don't know what the problems were, but Billy, with what Florida did, Billy put his team in the best place to win the game. And when you got coaches that can put your team in the best place to win, and everybody can talk about, AR-15 and all that. I know he's not going with that name anymore, but I'm going to still call him that because it's pretty cool. Probably not PC, but when have I ever been PC? I'm going Florida, probably my second team. I'm going third team, probably Tennessee.
They
didn't do anything to take it away.
No, Tennessee looked really good though. They looked good. And here's the thing that those three teams, Florida, Kentucky, Tennessee, are all pretty good. The one that's super interesting to me right now is South Carolina because it on paper looks like they got a big win against Georgia State, right? 35-14
on paper.
But that game in the third quarter was up for grabs.
Well, they were winning. Georgia State was winning.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It kind of just snowballed on them late, but I mean, South Carolina did. I mean, they played well. I mean, people are going to look at that game and be like, "Oh, they just beat Georgia State." Well, they were losing. Georgia State, I think, had the eighth. They were eighth in the NCAA in rushing last year.
Okay.
I mean, so they can, and they're physical on defense and all that stuff, and they just they got depth out late in the game. I guess would probably be the biggest issue.
I'm really interested in, and we're going to get to it in a minute, but I'm like the line came out on South Carolina, Arkansas, and I was like, whoa, 8.5 points. That's a big number, and yet you wonder if it's a trap number.
Yeah, I'll think about that a little bit more, but But Tennessee didn't do anything. They're going to be able to score points.
Yes, for sure.
And they did fine when Hooker was in there. When they took Hooker out, now if Hooker gets hurt, you saw the fall off.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd probably say Tennessee's in that third, Kentucky in there probably fourth, just depending on. That's a big game this weekend. Obviously, Kentucky, Florida's going to kind of
for sure.
Do
Huge
some
game.
things. Huge game. And
then
then
South Carolina, Missouri, Vanderbilt,
then Missouri.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I'm not putting Vandy in the bottom.
Yeah, I want to see Vandy this weekend against Wake. All right, what about the SEC West?
West, Alabama. Alabama just looked bored. They look bored.
I thought they looked like a machine.
They look bored.
Yeah.
And it just like
robotic.
I mean, how many touchdowns were there where guys were just trotting in the end zone like quarter speed? I mean, like they were at practice. I mean, it was just
yeah.
They're
so
good, man.
Who would you put two in the West?
All right,
now?
two in the West right now. I would probably put A&M.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I almost went to the point like people are like Haynes King missed some balls the other day now.
What struck me about A&M was that what I expected to be struck with was, boy, they've got a lot of athletes on the field. You see it like just a lot of guys, a lot of big guys, a lot of guys who can run. Just they're skilled. But King's better than Calzada.
Yes.
But I don't know that King is this difference maker out there. It's one game. It's overreactions. I want to see what he looks like against better teams. But
and you got to remember, it's like his third game he's ever started or whatever it is.
Sure.
Because he didn't play much last year before he got hurt.
But a game and a half.
He'll get better as the time goes on. But he makes some plays with his feet. Defensively, I think they're really good.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
And then the thing with offense, and then where it kind of gets clouded a little bit, is it wasn't like they were a machine going up and down the field. They were like, look like crap, look like crap, look like crap, look like crap. Let me throw this swing out here. He's going to make 47 guys miss. And, they got guys that can make big plays because of the recruiting, what you were referencing to. But I would probably put them second just by just depth of dudes. Third, Arkansas.
Yeah, I think right now I've got Ole Miss third, but it's really close. It's Ole Miss, Arkansas,
State,
Auburn, LSU, I think is what I've got.
Yeah. When you leave, and I don't know if again, this is dead wrong.
And Auburn's good on defense, so I wasn't impressed with what I saw from Auburn offensively. And Ole Miss played a really good half, kind of, and then they just turned it off, which is fine. That's what I expected. And then I don't know. State played a bad football team, but they look
good.
They looked really good.
They looked better than what I thought they were going to look.
Yeah.
Auburn looked better than what I thought they were going to look. Like you can take and look, Texas A&M. The reason I put them second is just depth of dudes, but like I could see 2 through 7 in the West just beating each other up. I can see this guy beating him beating him.
I think it's likely.
Yeah,
it's almost to be expected at this point. I mean,
you could end up with a bunch of 7-5 and 8-4 teams in the West besides Alabama.
Sure, of course.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Like it's almost like the NFL. Competitive. There's transient properties you can throw out.
Yeah, what you don't know is, like if everybody in the West had played Florida State, what would the numbers be? If everybody in the West had played Cincinnati, what would the numbers be? If I don't know. I mean, if everybody in the West had played Memphis, I think everybody wins.
Correct.
If everybody in the West had played Mercer, everybody wins. If everybody in the West played Troy, everybody wins. If everybody in the West had played Florida State, I'm not sure everybody wins. Maybe. If everybody in the West had played Cincinnati, I'm quite sure not everybody wins.
Who in the West is better than what you thought they would be?
State. Mississippi State's better. Alabama's better. I expected them to be great, but they're great. A&M's about what I expected. Ole Miss was about what I expected. Auburn might have been a shade better than what I expected, but about what I expected. Arkansas is about what I expected. I thought that's what they'd be. It's too early.
Yeah. I think at the end of the season, you could look up and it's going to say Alabama 8-0 in the SEC play. Yeah. And then everybody else. I mean, like
5-3, 4-4, 3-5,
all the way down.
Yep, I do too.
I think like 1 or 2 games could separate 2 from 7th.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of difference between
barring major injuries and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what A&M's the wild card in that. Like, I want to see more of them, because if you told me A&M went 6-2 based on their athleticism, I'd go, okay, but I don't think it.
Right.
But they could. I'd like to see. We'll talk about some of the games coming up in the last 15 minutes of the show. First, a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when faced with a challenge in life, but when you learn how to find your own solution, there's no better feeling. A therapist can help make you a better problem solver, making it easier to accomplish your goals, no matter how big or small. I've used therapy as a way to handle stress, clear negative thoughts. It was a life changer for me. If you're thinking of giving therapy a try, BetterHelp's a great option. It's convenient, accessible, affordable. It's entirely online. Get matched with a therapist after filling out a brief survey. Switch therapist anytime. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/MPW today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/MPW. And again, a reminder that this show always brought to you by Reign Body Fuel. Reign Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, and zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Reign Body Fuel to learn more. All right, let's look ahead to this week, because one of the games that I would love to see before you said, hey, re-rank the SEC West, I'd really love to watch Arkansas, South Carolina first.
It's in Fayetteville, right?
It's in Fayetteville, 11 o'clock in the morning. It's a ESPN game. ESPN. It's the main mothership, ESPN.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
I think both teams got tested physically.
Well, for sure.
From
I was listening to Pittman in his postgame, and he was talking about just how physical Cincinnati was. He was like, boy.
Yeah, and
they bring it.
And there was some licks being laid in that Georgia State game, too. I mean, both sides. What's the line?
8.5.
Ooh, I'm not ready just yet.
Yeah, I'm not ready to lay 8.5 points.
I'm going to be watching it. I don't know yet. I'll have to go back and look. I want to check, see how the health is in secondary. But look, Fayetteville's a hard place to play. I'll be interested to see how our boy Spencer Rattler handles the road a little bit. Easy to play at home, hard to play on the road in this league.
Yeah, it's
first road game in this league.
It'll get rowdy there, even at 11 in the morning. It'll be.
And they got some juice, man. They're excited.
Well, they should be.
Yeah, you got John Daly getting hammered on SEC Nation.
They go 9-4 last year, so they're now 10 of their last 14 games, and 2 of those losses were to Georgia and Alabama. Yeah. They've lost to Georgia, Alabama, Auburn, and Ole Miss. They've beaten Texas A&M. Who they beat in the bowl game? Penn State.
Yeah,
Penn State, Cincinnati. I mean, they've
I think the spread's about right.
Got to give the guy some credit.
Yeah,
people keep wanting to make him some assistant coach that doesn't know what he's doing. They keep wanting to say, "Oh, well, he's only this way because of his coordinators," which is a flawed argument. But no, at some point you got to look at him and go, "Dude's getting it done." It's like Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss. You got to look at the numbers and go, "Wow." I mean, they're winning. I mean, it's you can't. People want to pick stuff apart instead of acknowledging that maybe somebody found a fit. Maybe he fits there. I mean, anyway.
I'll check the over-under, too. I may have something there, but I'll be ready for that game on Thursday.
The other game I'm interested in the East, believe it or not, is Wake Forest at Vanderbilt.
Anchor down, baby.
Wake, a 6-point favorite. This game, 11 a.m. on the SEC Network.
This game's going to move, I bet.
I'm interested in this. I am really interested in seeing what Vanderbilt can pull off.
I am going to I may bet on it just for I'm like Vandy fan now or something. I don't know.
I'm kind of a Vandy fan. Not a Vandy fan. I like Clark, and I think it's a good story that what he's trying to do. Now look, Elon rolled him for a whole bunch of offense, so they might just not have enough on defense to do anything.
Yeah, but Wake struggled against VMI too, and I know the score got out of hand, but it wasn't out of hand until the end. I mean, it was like a 17-10 game or something. I don't know, it was a close game or something.
Yeah.
For a while. Quarterback's still out for Wake. It's not the crowd's not going to affect Wake. They're used to that. So I don't at Vandy. So I don't know. I'll watch it. I mean, I'm pulling
Sure.
for Vandy. Go get them, kids.
Tennessee Pittsburgh's a
All
great
up in this
game.
one.
Tennessee a 4.5-point favorite at Pittsburgh, 2:30 on ABC. One of the more interesting games of the day.
I think Tennessee blows them out.
Wow.
Blows them out.
Well,
Tennessee will score at will.
Then that will change my view of
Tennessee will
the SEC
score at
East.
will. Now, the question is I'm not, dude. I'm telling you, I'm not. I think Pittsburgh got lucky in some things in that game the other night. I don't think the best team won that game. I really don't. I think Tennessee's the real deal. I think they're pissed off from last year. I think they'll have motivation. I think Tennessee rolls them up. That's going to be my hot take of the week. Now, watch this. They'll get their shit kicked out of them. But I'm probably going to take Tennessee in that one.
You've got Houston, Texas Tech. We talked about Iowa State, Iowa. Big, important week for the Hawkeyes, obviously. That's a big game. And I agree with you. I think they're in trouble in that game. Defensively, though, they're really good.
Yeah.
Kentucky, Florida. That game is a 5-point line. Kentucky, a 5-point underdog at Florida, 6:00 on ESPN. Super interested in that. You've got another one that I'm really interested in. Baylor is a 3-point underdog at BYU, 9:15.
Yeah, that's a
ESPN.
nomination for my money line pick of the week. That's I like Baylor in that game. They're underdogs on the road. I mean, I know they're on the road. Baylor's freaking good now.
You got Kansas at West Virginia.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just think it's a live dog. Look, I like what Kansas is doing. West Virginia's got to shake that. That was a confidence killer. Neal's got his hands full getting them back ready to play again. And you can easily look up and go, oh, here we go. We got Kansas. We got a breather. Dude, Leopold's doing some good things over there, man. They're believing. They're like a 10-point dog or 11 or more than that. It's a double-digit dog. Heads up. Just better make sure you're ready to
go. Liberty, UAB.
Yeah, so Liberty is actually underdogs in this game by 6.5. With Liberty's quarterback being out, and he was pretty good. He's out for like 6 to 8 weeks. Here's the trick. Okay, I probably know a little bit too much about this one. Here's the trick is here. Hughes got his quarterback now is going to be a starter for the next 6 to 8 weeks. Does he? And he is a runner. Okay, yeah. Does Hugh run him as much as he needs to? Because if he loses him, now he's down to third team. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like. Does the offense have to? We did the same thing with Ryan Applin. When I was at Arkansas State, what got us here, Ryan Applin was one of our best runners, but we had nothing behind him. And so we never ran him until we had to. I remember we didn't run him for like the first 8 weeks of the season. We never ran him until we played Mario and FIU, and Mario had them rolling. We're like, hey, dude, you're going to have to suck it up and go this week. And so does that change the play calling around not having a third-team guy, I guess? So I think UAB is really good on defense. They're good on offense. I think UAB probably wins that one. But the reason they win it is because of the quarterback being out is going to affect play calling.
You got Georgia Southern at Nebraska, which is
they're huge underdogs, okay? Huge underdogs. Dude, Nebraska?
It's trouble. They're just not good.
Well, they struggled with FCS team this year.
It's trouble.
Like, that is a game I may just screw around with the money line a little bit on that one just for fun. That's gonna be like they're like 20-something point dogs.
Yeah.
Like, dude, if he loses this one,
yeah.
Like, there's a lot of pressure there.
Alabama's at Texas. This is a 11 a.m. game on Fox.
I've learned my lesson.
I've got the number at 18.5. I don't care what it is. I'm laying it.
I think I'm going to try an experiment to see what I would end up. I'm going to bet. This is personally not what's going to be in our competition. I'm going to bet for Georgia and Alabama to cover every single week until Vegas proves me they can get it right.
Yeah.
That's just what I'm going to do from here on out.
I'd lay 30 on this game.
I'm not even going to look.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start taking Alabama and Georgia, regardless of what the spread is. Don't even look, and just see what my record is at the end of the year.
And then you got Oklahoma State, Arizona State. Is that in Tempe this weekend?
No, I think it's in
Stillwater.
In Stillwater. But here's the thing. A lot of people are pissed about Oklahoma State not covering and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of people pissed.
Yeah.
Was that Thursday night or Friday night?
It was I don't know, Thursday, I think.
But here's the thing. It's like, dude, they took out all their guys. They needed to play some backups, and they gave up some points late. Dude.
Yeah.
Oklahoma State, they pretty much scored when they wanted to.
Yeah.
And they're only getting like 11 points. That's a game I will probably go. I'm looking at Oklahoma State right now because of the and then I forgot who they played. Arizona State played somebody and beat them pretty good, but Northern Arizona. But people are sleeping on Oklahoma State at -11.
Oklahoma State's a good team. They're a legitimate. Look, the Big 12 is going to be kind of fun. Oklahoma State's going to be one of the Oklahoma State, Baylor, some of those teams. They're interesting. Oklahoma.
Yeah, and then Texas, can't read, Sip Red Card, whatever, Sip Card Red, whatever his name is. Look, Texas is going to be better than people think, but they're not. They don't play Alabama every week, dude. It's a different breed. It's like they don't even count. I wouldn't even hold it against them.
No, I think
it's not their fault.
I think he's being sarcastic.
Oh, it's not even their fault.
Yeah. All right, we will. We'll wrap there. You got through it with relative. You look like
I'm spinning pretty good.
Are you a little high?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spinning pretty good.
Hopefully hopefully you'll be better by the time we reconvene on Thursday. You certainly feel better by that point, I hope.
Yeah, one way or another, I'm going to be feeling better.
Again, our thanks to the people at Rain for making this show possible.
Absolutely.
300 milligrams of natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits, achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more. We'll be back on Thursday with a Make It Rain Thursday. We'll make our picks.
Make it rain!
And we'll talk about some of the games here in week 2 of the schedule. So for Tyler Siskey, I'm Neal McCready. That does it for this edition of McCready and Siskey. Enjoy the rest of your day and your week. We'll see you on Thursday.